Glad to have you join us back. And now it's time for the discussion. Today, I'm joining us while in the studio. We have Jide Ologo, a legal practitioner. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, now to the main topic. Now, it says the force headquarters on Thursday paraded 14 suspects over the invasion of the Abuja resident of Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili, describing them as imposters who were unknown to any of the nation's security forces. The incident sparked an outrage with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami absolving his office of involvement in the operation. The police and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission also said they were not aware of the raid. The police, the Apex Court rather, had described the incident as an unwarranted and despicable exercise carried out in a Gestapo manner. Don't forget, we still have with us Jide Ologo. With this happenings with the Justice Mary Odili's home invasion and the police and the EFCC saying they're not aware of the raid, blaming it of some part of some persons involved in it, the military, journalists, police, revealed that some of the judiciary, etc. What is your take on, you are a legal practitioner now, so what's your take on this?
You know, it's another embarrassment to the nation because the summary is that those who invaded the house of Honorable Justice Odili are now being paraded to be non-state actors. But then there are several loopholes in that claim. For example, the soldiers were said to be involved, a journalist was involved, an order was obtained from a magistrate, somebody went to apply for the order, and even a suspect has come out that he was consulting for the Attorney General of the Federation. So where do we now go? You know, but in an ideal society, for example, with the magnitude of that invasion, I think the Attorney General should either have resigned or should be on suspension right now to facilitate thorough investigation. And of course, for those who may be disturbed by that, I want to make a reference to what happened recently in the United States of America, where the powerful governor, former governor of New York State, found himself with allegations of sexual harassment. And as we speak now, he's out of office. We have another governor there and likely to be prosecuted. And that is a society where there is the rule of law. And I, as a lawyer, I can always speak for myself, and I must appreciate what the Nigerian Bar Association has done through the president, Olumide Akpata, that has frowned on this development. And this is a brilliant opportunity for me to congratulate Honorable Justice Mary Odili for surviving that invasion, because Nigerians, let's ask ourselves a disturbing question. What about if she was killed? So you can imagine what kind of investigation could have gone into it. And some have gone like that. The daughter of Chief Asherochi was murdered, and some people were arrested. Where is the case today? The former chief of air staff, Alex Bade, was assassinated. Some suspects were arrested. Where are they today? And you remember when it took Governor Wike to go and stampede the invasion of an officer of NDDC in Port Harcourt. And it only again amplifies the level of insecurity in the country. But once again, I congratulate Honorable Justice Odili. And when you want to bring in the public relations angles, you begin to identify what we call perception. Some have perceived, perhaps from precedent, that it may be because Honorable Justice Odili is second in command in the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So proactively, some may not be comfortable not having a particular region heading that institution. That is also perception in public relations. But do we have precedents to that effect? Don't forget that this same personality that is on the front burner now played active role in the removal of the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Walter Onohe. When the issue of non-declaration of assets came up, before you knew it, the Code of Conduct, Tribunal, and that was, in fact, there was a mandamus, an ex parte order given to the president to suspend the then Supreme Court Chief Justice, which was an unconstitutional move because there are procedures laid out in the Constitution for the appointment and removal of the Supreme Court Justice. And now it's all history, how the man was removed from office. And even though those allegations were weighty enough for his removal, has it been prosecuted? Okay, now still on the same personality. When it was time to move Magu, for several times, the National Assembly turned back Magu. And the presidency just insisted he must continue to act as the acting chairman of EFCC. But when the time was ripe for him to be removed, it was the same office, the office of the Attorney General, that started some dramas. And the allegations against Magu were strong enough to get him removed from office, but he is not being prosecuted. So you see power play here, and we can go on and on and on and on. And going back to the law now, if you check Section 150 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it creates the room for the appointment of the Attorney General of the Federation. And I think 195 deals with that of the state as the #1 law officer in the nation, with enormous power to protect and project the interests of justice. And he is expected to carry out these functions with public interest in the front line. So where are we today? And many have expressed concerns about how the influence of that office is being exercised. But once again, I congratulate Honorable Justice Odili, because if the government, represented by the Attorney General of the Federation, is denying the operations of the suspects or any connection with them, then what could have happened if she was killed?
All right. What happened to Justice Mary Odili is not first of its kind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In 2016, there was a similar scenario that played out. That is in the case of late Justice Sylvester Nguta. Then Justice...
Quite a number of them.
Yeah, okay. John Okoro and the rest of them. Their homes were also invaded.
Yes,
and at the end of the day, no convictions, no charges. You don't think that's the same way it's going to go?
I spoke about perception. Let me go deeper. There's this maxim in public relations that you cannot carve a rotten wood. And I think right now, the project Nigeria may be like a rotten wood in terms of reputation. There's a difference between image and reputation. Even if I go out there now, for example, as representative of Nigeria, to say, come and invest in Nigeria, Nigeria has, offerings for you. What about the insecurity? So, you just mentioned a very bad case also, which was an assault on the judiciary as an arm of government. Because there are three arms that are expected to correlate and respect one another and operate as checks and balances. And we learned that in civics. Have you also forgotten that we woke up one morning to the news that the National Assembly was invaded by DSS? And the explanation given was order from above. Who is that person above? Who are those guys? Who are those people above? So, and the judiciary frowned at that. And that is why this should not be taken lightly at all. You don't exercise these powers unnecessarily. And let me ask a simple question. If we are going out there exercising, our expressions to woo investors into the country, and the investors sit down to profile your nation, and they first consider the business environment, and they identify from your own headlines, content analysis, kidnappings, banditry, uncontrollable inflation,